Hi, welcome to my ecology class. I'm Susan Glenn, and you can find me at Rowan College at Gloucester County. My email is sglenn, S-G-L-E-N-N, at rcsj.edu, and I'm just going to go over how the course is structured, what to expect, how much work there is to do, and the basics of what's in the syllabus for the course as well. Going to find in the syllabus is a lot of very useful information about how the course is structured and what the rules are. So if you're in e-learning, you'll see a link directly to the syllabus on the left side menu so that you can immediately go to that and print it off. The complete schedule is found in the syllabus. It'll have the due dates for everything listed there, what you're doing every single week. So we organize it on a week-by-week basis. The syllabus also includes your points that are associated with every assignment that we do. And we have the grading scale is going to be a point-based scale. So depending on how many points you earn over the course, that's going to determine whether you get an A or B or whatever your grade is. You're going to need at least 650 points in order to get a D. But there are a couple of other ways of failing the class other than not getting the 650 points. You may have got enough points, but if you don't submit your lab reports, you will fail the class. And if you were caught cheating or plagiarizing, you end up failing the class. So print off the syllabus. That way you've got it in front of you. Put it in a binder. Keep it safe for the semester. You can refer to it. You'll also find in it there's an FAQ section of questions that people typically ask during this course, and make sure you read over the entire syllabus. Make sure you read over the FAQs, and that way you understand how the course operates, and you are expected to sort of know how everything is operating and running. I'm going to talk about some more of the details then that go into the course structure. I'm going to be sending you some emails to just keep you up to date on what you're supposed to be doing each week. And you will find that the course is organized by weeks so that you know how to keep up and what you need to do. On the home page of the course, you're going to find the link to the weekly instructions, and that way you can go to whatever week, you know where all the links are going to be, whether it's working on your lecture videos or your labs or your scientific paper, or if you have an exam that week, it's all going to be under that week's folder. I've also divided up the course into 3 modules because the lecture material is divided that way. So there's a lecture module 1 that will have all the material in there for that you'll need for exam 1, and then lecture module 2 is everything you need for exam 2, and lecture module 3 will go for your exam 3. So pay attention to the announcements and the emails. Check your emails regularly, and that way you will not get left behind. The ebook is required in this course, so make sure you get access to your ebook. A lot of students like to also have a paper copy of the textbook in front of them, especially when they're working on exams, or sometimes their eyes get tired reading on a computer screen. When you purchase your ebook, you have the option of also they will send you a paper copy of the book, or you can find one, probably an early edition for cheap, available as well. You're going to have your lab kit, and if you have questions about the lab kit, please contact me and ask me your questions. The lab kit is available for sale from the bookstore, but if you are living with somebody who also has a lab kit and you wanted to share it, contact me because you can just purchase the lab manual separately. You will need your own lab manual if you're sharing the kit. You're going to need your cell phone for some of the labs because you're going to be using some of the apps for identifying things, or for entering your data, or actually taking pictures of what you're doing and submitting those on your lab reports. So you're going to need a cell phone. And then you need an internet connection, obviously, if you're doing an online class, for accessing the videos. And you're going to want to download the Microsoft Office package that's available from the college, which includes Excel. We will be using Excel in every lab, and you're not going to find that the functions that we need to use in Excel are going to be available on any other spreadsheet program. So you have to use Excel. So make sure you download the free copy of Microsoft Office 365. I know some students working on Macs have problems because the Mac version of Excel is different from the Windows version of Excel. So make sure you have a version of Excel that is going to be comparable with what we're using in class. So the things we need, the textbook, the instructions and link for getting the textbook are on the syllabus. You can buy it through the bookstore, or you can buy it directly from the publisher, which is a cheaper way of doing it. It includes the ebook, it includes the review questions, there's guided reading assignments. I've thrown in a couple of little extra credit assignments. They're just for understanding some of the concepts and some of the graphs. So a lot of graphs and statistics in ecology. We deal with a lot of data, and getting some practice at working with that is useful. You can find a link in e-learning to your online textbook on the left column, the left menu, and when you click on that, there's a place where you compare it. So you can, if you haven't purchased your ebook already, you purchase through that link, or you can have already pre-purchased it, and then that's where you're going to pair it with your e-learning section, and that way everything can be accessed through e-learning, and the grades for doing the readings on the ebook then get transferred automatically into e-learning. If you have trouble with that, drop me an email. Ask Glenn at rcsj.edu, and I can help you pair your book. You'll be working on 4 different chapters for each exam, and I put those together into a lecture module where you have the 4 chapters related to the exam questions listed. When you're going to work on a chapter, you're going to go into the ebook and you're going to read the chapter and do the practice questions in the chapter. I also recommend you print out the PowerPoint notes, and that way you can watch the video lecture, keep track along with the PowerPoint notes, and take notes on those as you go along. I also, in the video lectures, recommend certain questions, review questions at the end of each chapter section, at the end of the chapter, that you should be able to answer for the exam. So you could actually write out those answers now as you're going through the chapters, and then if you see a similar question on the exam, you've already got the information ready and available to you. The other thing you'll find in the lecture module folders are links to investigating the evidence topics. This is way at the back of your textbook. This is an Appendix A. These will link you to the specific topics that will be covered. There'll be 4 different topics covered for each exam. And then in addition, there are some homework assignments in the ebook. The homework assignments will relate to specific chapters, and that way it helps reinforce some of the information. They are interactive assignments, so they're usually working with graphs and answering questions about them to help you understand that material. So the first thing you need to do is get your lab kit from the bookstore, and it includes all the equipment and field book instructions that you're going to need for all our labs. So it's important you get that the first week of class. It's probably easiest just to go to the bookstore and purchase it there instead of waiting for them to send it to you. And the kits are physically in the store. It's not like you get a card and have to order the kit. When you're collecting the data for the class, you're only collecting your own data, and there's only one of you. You don't have a lab group, so you can't get very much data. So we will use class data for the analysis. So each lab involves collecting data, but it also includes in how to analyze the data. And the data analysis instructions are going to be given in your course, and those will be linked to your to that particular lab for those weekly instructions. When you're doing your lab, you're going to be posting photos of what you're doing, you're going to be posting your data, and you're going to be posting your own analyses. And you'll be putting all of that onto a lab log. And then you complete an assignment where you give me the link to your lab log and answer a few questions about what you posted. And sometimes you're going to be posting your data into a form that I will put available so we can pool the class data. We're going to do a total of 7 labs, so each lab will be collecting data and analyzing data. You're going to pick 2 out of those 7 labs to write full lab reports on. So it's up to you to select the 2 labs. The first lab report, you'll have time to pick from lab 1 or 2, and then you'll have a chance to revise that lab report so that you can see what the feedback, see what you've done wrong, and then you'll be able to revise it after that. So other things you might need as you're going along, you're going to need your phone. We use some apps on the phone. Having the weather app is useful. Having your phone there for emergencies and is useful. And being able to take photos that you can use in your blog is going to be necessary. So you need a phone or a camera. You're going to find some locations to do these labs, and I'll help you if you have difficulty finding locations. You're going to need a forested area. You're going to need a lawn area. You're going to need to find a cemetery for one of the labs. Things for your own personal protection: hat, sunblock, sunglasses, insect repellent. Obviously, you're going to need something to write with. And then at some point you need your computer and your internet for doing your coursework. Let's talk about communication. The simplest single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. George Bernard Shaw. That is probably the biggest problem people have in science class, is communicating science. And there's a number of different ways we're going to be working on communication. You're going to be doing blogs, you're going to do lab reports, we're going to use Zoom meetings, and we're going to do tests. And this way, not only are you going to be able to communicate to me what you know, I'm also going to try to be communicating to you very clear directions, instructions, and information so that you can learn. I'm asking you to set up 2 blogs this semester, and this is a way for you to communicate with me, but we're also going to make these public blogs that you'll be able to communicate with other people. The first blog is going to be the lab blog, and this is where you're going to share your photos of your labs, your field book data sheets, and to present your results from your data analysis. We are going to pool all our data, so everyone in the class can use the results for analysis and lab reports. And sometimes you'll want to look at other people's blogs, the lab blogs, in order to look at the context of their data and where it was collected. You will put a public link on the discussion boards so that everybody can see where the data comes from and where your blog is located. And you will be updating your blog every week. So either you're going to be collecting data or analyzing it, or both, and putting that up on your blog. The other blog you're going to make up is a blog on a scientific paper that you will be reviewing. So you're going to learn how to read a scientific paper, and you're going to update this. We're breaking this up every week so that you're able to not do it all at once and spread it out. And this was people's favorite blog last year. They loved reading each other's blogs and seeing the papers that they read and reading the papers. So in the midterm, you're going to submit your blog for a review. And you're going to do peer reviews. So you're going to be asked to review other students' blogs at this point. And that way, everyone gets feedback on what people like about their blog, what's not working, maybe a link is dead, and they can fix up their blog before they submit it for the final review. And once again, in the final review, you're going to review each other's blogs, and I'll be reviewing your blogs for points. And but you will get points for actually giving constructive feedback, useful feedback to other students on their blogs. So once again, you will be asked to share a link to your public blog that other people can look at. You also need to download the paper that you're going to be reviewing, download a PDF of that, and put it on OneDrive and share a public link of that so that students can look at the actual paper that you're reviewing. Now, some people know how to do blogs. They've done blogs. You're welcome to use any platform you want. Most people have not. So we're going to learn how to use Google Sites to make a very quick and easy blog. And it's nice and fast and easy to learn. But you're welcome to use any site that you're more comfortable with. The students really enjoyed doing the blogs. The blogs were bright, colorful, and a much better way of looking at things than dry papers and your normal ways of submitting labs. The blogs that I have set up some templates to help out on Google Sites. I'll share those templates with you, and that way you get a better idea how to structure the blog, what needs to be put in the blog. But as I say, you have the freedom, you have the flexibility to set yours up how you want to, as long as it has everything we need. Every lab, you're going to be completing a lab assignment, which is going to link to your blog, and it's going to ask a few questions about your particular lab. But you're going to pick 2 labs out of the 7 that we do, and you're going to write full lab reports using the class data so that you'll have enough data to analyze, and you're going to come up with your own hypothesis that you'll be able to test with what we have. You probably haven't written full lab reports before. You will get feedback on these 2 lab reports, and you will have time to fix them up and resubmit them. When you resubmit them, you'll have to include a detailed list of the revisions, and then you can get additional points onto your lab reports. And so there's a document with the guidelines for writing the lab reports. There's a video with instructions for writing the lab reports, and you will get feedback on your lab reports. They're the same format as a peer-reviewed scientific paper published in Ecology. So we're using this exactly same format that you'll be reading in your scientific paper reviews, and this way you will become more familiar with how to write the lab reports yourselves by reading other papers at the same time. So the first lab report will be due earlier in the term so that you can get some feedback, and so you can pick which of the labs we've done by that point to write your first one, and then your second one is due a little later in the term. I will run some optional Zoom meetings. There'll be open meetings scheduled for the class where anybody can come in, and I'll go over what we're working on and answer any questions you have there. If you want one-on-one office hours with me, just drop me an email, sglenn@rcsj.edu, and ask for some time. You might be working on a lab analysis and you're confused on how to do it, or you might have concerns or other things are going wrong with the course or things that are going right that you want to tell me about. So if you are coming to the one-on-one office hours, they're not recorded, they're not posted, and it's only you in the room. If somebody else comes in the room at a time that you're there, they wait in the waiting room so that you have one-on-one time. And any questions you have, email me, and that way I can respond quickly, and we can Zoom if we have to, if it's a more complex answer to your question. So for a typical week, you're going to be checking your weekly instructions. You're going to print off your PowerPoint notes for the chapters you want to work on that week. And you're going to read my lab instructions for the week. And if we're doing data collection outside, you're going to keep an eye on the weather, pick the day that you're going to do that, and then make sure you've got enough time in the rest of the week to do the data analysis as well. Don't forget when you collect the data to submit it into the class data so everyone can use it. Read your chapter, do the practice questions, attend the Zoom meeting or watch the recorded meeting, and then watch the video lectures that go with the chapters. So write out your answers for the review questions, and that'll help you prepare for the exam. And then once you've done your lab, update your lab blog, update your scientific paper blog, and then if you're assigned other blogs to review, because we do that a couple of times over the term, make sure you do those. Work on your lab reports as you go along. Don't leave. Lab reports can't be done at the last minute. You just won't get them done. And so put all your due dates in the phone. So make yourself like a little weekly list, that your to-do list like this, where you're able to just keep track of what you're going to do that week. If you've got your due dates as reminders in your phone, that's going to help you a lot. Some weeks are not typical, they're atypical, and they will have certain things that are due that week. And it's important for you to keep track of that. I will not be reminding you of everything that's coming up that is due. So I would suggest taking out your phone, pausing this, put these important dates on your calendar so that you know when things are going to be due. You've printed out a copy of your syllabus, put the dates from the syllabus into your calendar. Make sure you understand, and that way you don't miss exam days. The exams, the chapter exams, or exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3 are based on your readings and the videos that we did associated with the textbook chapters. Those exams are going to be available all day. You can go into it and start in the morning, go back out of it, come back to it later in the day, as long as you get it submitted by 8 p.m. There's no makeup exams. There's no extensions given. If you miss the exam, if you don't do it, you don't get the points for the exams. So make sure that you take the time off work for these days, for these exams, and you've scheduled some time in that day to work on them. We've also got on the schedule of due dates when your lab reports are due. If you do not hand in either lab report number 1 or lab report number 2, then you cannot pass the course. So you have to hand in at least 2 of these full lab reports. The scientific paper blogs, you're doing a midterm evaluation of that where you get to review each other's blogs. If you don't turn that in by the due date, submit that as just submitting a link to your blog and to your paper. If you don't turn that in, then you can't review other people's, and there's no extensions on that either. So all of these are firm dates, so make sure you meet these dates. The same thing when you review other people's blogs, there's a date you have to have the reviews done, and then those reviews are released to the person who did the blogs, and they can see what other people had to say about it. So pay attention, particularly towards the end of the course, because we have a scientific paper exam, we have a lab exam, and we have the 3rd chapter exam all in a row. And so make sure you've set aside that time at the end of the term to do that. And you've got that all with, you might want to set little reminders like a day before each thing in your calendar so that you do not fall behind and you know what's going on and don't miss a deadline. We haven't had a chance to cover everything in the syllabus, so make sure you print it out, read it over. There's a lot of really useful information in there, and also clarifies some things. It includes your schedule, it includes the easy to read FAQs, it's got affirmative action material, it's got a material on where to go for help in the college. So make sure you've got a copy of that with you. Also make sure you get your lab kit, get your lab book. Those are your 2 biggest priorities to start with in starting the course. If you have any questions, my name's Susan Glenn. You can email me at sglenn@rcsj.edu, and particularly if you're having any difficulties doing a lab, using Excel, using your lab book, things with your lab kit, or even how to actually do the lab, make sure you get your questions answered, and I'm happy to be there for you. Hopefully I'll see you in our Zoom meetings as well. So thank you for taking this course. I'm looking forward to working with you, seeing your blogs, and getting to teach you quite a bit of ecology. You're going to learn a lot, and I'm looking forward to working with you.